Hello, my ladies and pretty gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Look What Is Happening in the Spiritual Realm with yours truly, Light. Today, I've got a message from Spirit, and this is what I'm getting. There was a strategic diversion that took place in order to take a divine counter or encounter or a divine collision out of course. Now, this is how it's been structured to me. There are about 4 to 5 people involved in this scheme. And last night, it was made very clear to me exactly how this was constructed. So, there is one object of the diversion, and I feel like this is a person that has taken a lot of the blame. And in some aspects, yes, you are correct to put the blame on them, because this is a person who I would like to say was like a mute player. They were the perfect obstacle that took on a lot of sound or absorbed a lot of the sound in the room so that you couldn't really pinpoint exactly where the attack, where the puppeteer's hands were. But this is going to be clarifying a lot of that in the collective. The second element or the second person involved in this would be what I've called in my blog, which I've taken a sabbatical from, although I'm going to be coming back with something else, but that's a digression. The affianced. The second one is the gullible player, and I feel like this is someone who has a heart posture of fear and has a lot of like follower element about them that they need to work out. But they were at the mercy of some of the energies, these strategic, malevolent, snake-like energies that you, as the Joker of this, and however you relate, you might not be the Joker actually watching this, to be honest, that you may have had very close encounter with, to the point where it has made you unrelatable to a lot of people, even though they can relate with you, paradoxically. The third person or element is kind of a two-team element. These are the people who've gotten very snugly with each other. And for some of you, this could be an ex and a mistress. And for others of you, funnily enough, this could be an ex and a parental figure, either of theirs or of yours. So it begs the question, are these people in bed with each other? Because spiritually speaking, they are. That's what I'm getting. Regardless of whether the fact that this is a mistress situation where this is people who are actually sleeping with each other or not, is really not a factor, because their energy signature is that of a person who almost feels like they're into each other in that way, but they're into each other where they can share you like a bread, where they can cut you apart and enjoy the destruction of what could possibly be, not just for you, but for a reflection of you, a divine reflection. This could be a career, this could be a person, this could be a manifestation of you as oneness. However it is that whatever it is that they're aiming to attack, this is what they want to avoid. And so these players, right, at this time, I feel like a lot of the collective that I consider a joker or the observer or the leader, spiritually speaking, has taken a back seat. There is an element of you that has refocused every bit of your energy into your healing, into your own personal endeavors. In fact, a lot of you could be experiencing a sense of peace. And as this is happening, there is somebody that is kind of, I want to picture this person, if you could picture them. This is a energy of someone who is kind of walking sulkin, and very much ruminative about what they must do. And it's funny because this is someone who may have pawned off the responsibility on you to carry this burden, but they didn't even see or acknowledge the fact that you had made path, like you had cut the main cake, you had carved, you had part of the Red Sea, so to speak, and all they had to do was walk across it, but they didn't even have that capacity. And Spirit may have told you not to assist this divine counterpart. Spirit may have told you to actually just step aside, and that is your role. And it may have been very cumbersome for a lot of you, but we're not going to get into that. So this is what I'm getting. these people that orchestrated, wanted to be the puppeteers of this show, whether they be the mistress and the ex, or the ex or wannabe lover, kind of stalking energy, and a parental figure. These people got in bed with each other, and in some ways they have used a lot of the people around them as flying monkeys, for lack of a better term. They have used them as perpetuators of this curse of some sort. And it's very interesting because these are the people who genuinely see you, and these are the people who may have actually done divination, and at the same time they wear the mascot. I'm going to call it a mascot. The mascot of being saint-like, almost even fearing the practices, and may have even demonized you for accessing some of your potential. For some of you who are actually doing this, for tapping into your ancestral wisdom, or for just kind of carving your own spiritual path and leading by love and education as opposed to fear and objectification. So this is the reason why these people are out for you. They see the potential in you that they could never have, meaning their core, like who they actually are, is very, very much hollow. Like they don't really have a personality. And for some of you, this is a parental figure. I've always beaten this into this channel because a lot of the atrocities are caused by a parent. And for some of us, it's a mother figure who has genuinely shrouded themselves in the essence of caring about you. And we talked about this in yesterday's video for the ex, that if you resonate with this being an ex, who wants to reserve you. And the way that I saw it in my dream was somebody using someone's sexuality, their essence in that sense, in order to manifest through them or through their oppression and whatever energy that's not accessed or cultivated by you, to use that for their own benefit. Because this person, these people see you as quite literally giving like birth to bread, money, giving birth to all types of potential. And there is this sense of like grubbiness when it comes to them feeling like you're not sharing it with them, that you will never share it with them because you're possibly the only person who sees them exactly for what they are. And it's funny because they may have expected you to react to them, to batter them, to assault them, to confront them, but you know better. And this is what this person, this divine counterpart for some of you, is learning. They're understanding that you are quite literally eons ahead of them in some ways. And they have kind of taken part in stabbing your flesh, so to speak. They have taken part in assaulting you in some fashion, in some roundabout and indirect fashion. Or they have just sat around and watched you as you were being brutalized by these people. And for some of you, this is spiritual witchcraft attacks that were being taken out on you. And this person had so many chances to open up their eyes, but I feel like this is a time that something is sinking in for them. And for a lot of you, it's because you have given way. Like there is no desire for that person to show up for you in any type of way. And it's hard for me to describe this because I get a sense that for some of you, like I mentioned yesterday in the end of the video, there is an intervention that has taken place by what I would consider either a god or an angel. They almost heard something, and I feel like this is why for some of you, things have kind of taken off a complete dip. Things have ended with certain people. Things have ended with certain like locations, certain problems that you may have had, either illnesses or hesitations. It's almost like something took a complete dip. And I feel like this is because there is a spiritual element or a spiritual being specifically that has taken interest and taken part in your case. And this is for very few of you. I really want to reiterate that. It's for a few of you. Take an interest in your case. And it's very, very sad to some extent because, and it's good for you, because something was shown to this person, to this entity, to this being. I don't want to call it an entity. And one of the elements is that this being could have been the same being that was attacking you. I want to say this. And for some of them, and I got this download today, they were wondering exactly where that entity, what the things that they have waged, the darkness that they have waged against you, where it has went. It's almost like it's went MIA. And it's taken on a life of its own. It's taken on a mission of its own. And for a lot of you, it's because, like they've described, like fallen angels are called demons in some beliefs. And this is what I'm getting. And I made this video a while ago where I said a devil has fallen in love with an angel. Check that out. Because I feel like this is kind of along the same vein. Where this God, for lack of a better term, quote, has taken some type of interest, and in some ways the person, the actual physical being or person or friend that was assigned to a specific timeline of support for you has failed for some of you. They failed you. They failed you flat out. And it's now that they're actually realizing it. Now is the time that they're realizing it. And for some of you, the person who failed you is not the person that I mentioned in the very beginning of the video. That was the distraction, the one that was absorbing a lot of the noise in the room. This person is being held in a very, very, very strict spiritual court, because the type of diversion that they did, it's a person that was involved in your life that wasn't even a thing. They weren't even a factor. You may not have even known them. Like, it was out of sheer jealousy and out of sheer envy that they decided to put themselves in the middle of a situation to become this central figure where in some ways they're invisible. They're like an invisible central figure. And that's how they wanted to put it. That's not the person that is now sulking. The person that is sulking is someone that was infected by this specific invisible figure that took it upon themselves to sort of play along with the people that actually meant you ill, the people that wanted to hide the puppeteer's hand and maintain control over your destiny, over your life. Because they believed that if they were to crash you all the way down, that is the only way that you would surrender to their control. That there is the only way that you would allow them access into your life. Because maybe at one point, if this is an ex, this is someone that you came across when you were really down in the gutter. And if this is a parental figure, they have seen your potential. They have seen the fact that you are a very independent person, spiritually speaking. Like, they never really actually convinced you or bought your mind. And for a parent to say that, it's a strong thing, because parents are very much influential. Like, they have a greater influence over their children than anybody else. And for a child, especially if it's an abusive parent, a domineering parent, for a child to still maintain their autonomy, to still maintain that sacred place within them, that fire within them, it says a lot. And this is somebody, a parent, that actually feels very deeply threatened by you as a person. Threatened to their core. And it's something that they have masked for a very long time. And that mask, that time, has come to an end. They have been revealed to their community. And for a lot of you, it's because they've done something plainly bad. And it's so funny to me that these things, these terrible things that people do is only noticed when the person that they do it to doesn't end up falling in the gutter like they expected. When they end up just standing firm, that is when people think, oh my God, I can't believe that person did all that and they're still standing. It's funny to me because if you had fallen into the gutter, if that entity, right, hadn't actually been under your control, which is kind of funny to say. I wouldn't say under your control. It's more of like an intrigue that I'm picking up on. It's a friend. I don't know what to call it. Like, it's a weird energy of like, you know, when a snake is like slithering and it's kind of like intrigued by something, like the knowledge, something, they wanted to imbue something to you, but it's like this thing has transformed into its own, it's taken its own momentum. And I feel like it's because the collision with your frequency, right? There are some things about you that may not react with the spirit in the way that they have intended it to react. In fact, it may actually create a different chemical reaction. And I feel like that's what I'm getting. The frequency that they sent to you, that entity, the being, has interacted with you in a way that has now transformed even it. And it's created a new chemical reaction. And for some of these people, if they're witchcrafts and warlocks, this is their confusion. This is the element of, oh no. Because again, there's always a percent, right? There's always like if there's 100% chance, 99% chance of something working out, there's always a percentage that some of you, right, whatever is you're made up of, your atoms, your molecules, whatever they're made up of, right? There are some things that would reject it. There are some things that would actually work with it. And I feel like, as opposed to just rejecting it, whatever they sent to you has worked with you. That's what I'm getting. It's worked with you and it's created a whole other thing of its own. And for some of you could call it like an entity that has kind of taken interest in you, or however you want to call it. But that is what I'm getting. Where humanity, where people weren't able to stand up for you, the things that were coming up against you, specifically demons, have turned towards you, have turned for you. Like, nothing likes to be controlled in that sense. But back to the central point. As I was saying, people always tend to romanticize somebody who survived the damage that was being sent out to them. And I feel like this is where this person stands. And for some of you, a lot of the people that they had support from have distanced themselves from you. It's interesting. They have distanced themselves from you. And these aren't the people that were working with them. These are the bystanders. These are the people that, if this is another parental figure, just kind of stood around like, a piece of dummy and did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're distancing themselves from you. They're keeping themselves away from you for a reason. So this is back to the point here. This diversion. We're back to the affianced. This person that, not the distraction, but the person that was supposed to be the physical representation of safety, the physical representation of a team, a community for you that has failed. They have gone a completely different path. And for some of you, we're going to find this out. I get this very strong feeling towards the end of March or even the middle of April. I'm kind of getting that feeling, like maybe around the 27th of April, something along those lines. We're going to see where this person lies, because they're understanding that the game of ego, the game of, how they've managed to rope in, or how they've managed to protect themselves from other people or karmics or whatever the case, none of that works with you. It's like water and land. It's like everything that they have done in the land, on the land, cannot be worked out in the water. It's like everything becomes in a very slow motion with you. And they cannot function in that tit for tat rat race with you. You are not a rat, right? And I get this cat energy. You're not a rat. You're a cat. And this person is beginning to realize that. And for some of you, they may have taken on, certain relationships or people, distractions, however you want to call it. It doesn't really fucking matter for a lot of you. I get that sensation. And it may have even come from a place of like, nobody's actually for me. Like, you may be able to count in one hand, maybe even half of one hand, how many people are for you. And that is the kind of path you have been in. And I feel like this is Spirit, God, the Most High, telling you, you have underestimated yourself so much. And this God, this being that is in the spirit realm, that is kind of taking back arms, there's a lot of things that it is going to divulge to you. And that's what I'm getting. I'm going to leave it here. I don't reach out. Those are scammers. I really hope this wasn't confusing. I'm going to listen to it back again and see if it was or not. I hope it wasn't confusing. And if it is, as usual, it's probably not for you. If it's like, what the hell is this? leave it alone, right? Just leave it alone. Yes, until next time, everything you need to know is in the description box as usual. Yeah.